Margaret, and to welcome Minister McConalogue with us here today to speak about a fantastic piece of legislation, Minister. And of course, really, Ireland is world class in terms of delivering on food and our farming, grass-fed farms. And now this is the next step to really bring us up to ensure that there is transparency at all stages, Minister. So very much welcome this new bill. And as you've mentioned, farming and exports, 9%, I think you mentioned in your opening speech, just around exports coming from the farming sector, nearly 170,000 people working in this sector. And I'm sure that that's not even counting the number of retailers and processors and everything else, but 170,000 people. It's incredible to think that that's farming, fishing maybe as well. And you just mentioned as well 18.7 billion euro. 18.7 billion euro. It just shows how Ireland has come on leaps and bounds in terms of the quality of what we do, the way we use innovation, the way we're driving always ahead, and how farmers are doing that. And I suppose working with the Department of Agriculture and working with officials and so on. Minister, you've spoken a little bit just about the role here of Oireachtas Agrabia, and of course, that the new person who's starting in this role, as has been mentioned, will hit the ground running, I'm sure, and already, those measures have been set up, I know, within the department and so on. So this is the next step here in the Seanad. But just that this person, the enforcement side of this, we're looking at transparency, that we're going to get data, I suppose, about all elements on the food chain and so on, but we're also looking at the enforcement. And I think maybe you might comment a little bit more on the Section 14 section, just, how this person is going to be carrying out these inspections. That they're going to be able to bring proceedings for offences and refer cases to the Director of Public Prosecutions. I mean, do we have an idea, say, within a year or 2 years, are there numbers that we're looking at this? Is there going to be sort of a target to say there will be X amount of inspections, there will be X amount of outcomes or impact out of these areas around enforcement? Because that's really going to show people really the importance, the value of this regulator, what this is going to mean. I suppose the communication, Minister, around this is going to be absolutely crucial. Do you know that farmers, that small processors, that retailers as well, suppliers, that they're all aware of the impact of this new role. So I think communication around that is going to be really, really crucial. Minister, if I might also just acknowledge, I suppose, just a little bit around also the recent announcements from your department, I very much welcome, and I know in particular around the TAMs, we're trying to do a good bit of work on this, but particularly around the 60% grant aid for solar panels and so on, particularly for farming, I think is absolutely crucial. I know that there's 60% grant aid as well. I know Minister Martin Hayden would be looking at farm safety under Teagasc, and I think for farm safety measures that there's 60% grant aid on that. I'd be curious just how you're feeling that that's coming along. I mean, applications or interest in that programme. And I know that you've only recently announced as well nearly 300,000, if I'm right, on the agri-food tourism. And again, that's highlighting just groups like the BA Innovator that's in Athenry and Galway, but also the importance of agri-food tourism linking in with heritage and culture, which is absolutely crucial. The Suckler Carbon Efficiency Scheme, Minister, again, a great take-up on that, 20,000. From what I understand, nearly 2,500 farmers in Galway alone, 1,200 in Roscommon. Minister, that again is showing how farmers are driving innovation in trying to meet our targets. And again, also about the quality of food production on this island. Minister, only recently there is also another programme, and you might just reference it, just that was announced. I know it's under the other Department of Housing, but 7,500 for farmhouses, particularly under the expert conservation advice, where farmers now can look at pulling down the Croí Connotha vacant scheme, over 50,000 euro potentially for farmhouses that have been left vacant. Again, this is income coming into farming families, Minister, across the whole country. I believe that these programmes and schemes are ways for income to come into our farming families, as well as ensuring that we're looking at driving income through transparent measures through this new regulator post as well. Minister, I know that you will be speaking to a lot of different items, but I suppose it is just important to see that what you're trying to do here will make a massive difference to farming families, and I really look forward to, I suppose, seeing the impact of that as well in the next little while. Thank you. Thanks a million.